Welcome back to Hannity. So Sarah Carter, John Solomon of Circa News recently reported that the FBI looked into the activity of a Trump-related server in a Russian bank and found no nefarious conduct was happening, in spite of what you hear in the news media. And tonight they're reporting that the bank, quote, reported to U.S. authorities that mysterious communications resumed recently between one of their computers and an email server that is tied to Donald Trump's business empire, and it has developed evidence the new activity may be the work of a hacker trying to create a political ruse. Sarah and John are here to explain more. All right, step one you found out was there were two investigations, one FISA warrant, one other warrant. As looking into the broader issue of Russia influencing the campaign, not about Donald Trump, right?
That's correct.
They discovered nothing, including even though they did have access to the server, or at least a server, that serves at Trump Tower, correct?
That is correct.
They had access to some computer logs, right, that showed what was going on there. That's right.
All right. Step two, and again, no evidence found. They moved on. They didn't even think it was a big deal at all, this idea of connections between the Trump campaign and Russia. True?
That's right.
That is correct.
Yeah, very true.
All right. And last night you talked about a woman, big donor to Hillary Clinton, that with a computer background, that she and others were the ones advancing and pushing the story of the Russia-Trump connection. True?
Yep,
that is
that's
true.
Right.
Okay. And the media ran with it. That's where we got the New York Times saying Trump was wiretapped, et cetera?
Well, it was certainly one of the storylines that raised suspicion that Donald Trump had something secret and nefarious going on with Russia, which we now know the intelligence community no longer, never believed and still doesn't believe.
What did you think?
That's right.
Go ahead,
multiple reports. I mean, this server connection last year, when these reports started coming out, I mean, it was everywhere. In fact, even today, Sean Spicer was talking about it as press conference. So these pings between Trump's server and Russia's Alfa Bank became a whole fodder for many stories across the United States during that time. Correct.
All right, so now you've taken it to another level just late today. And the other level, I'll let you begin it, Sarah, that Alfa Bank is asking the Justice Department to help unmask where the pings are coming from. They believe it's in the United States, correct?
That is correct. They believe it's a third party masking these pings, that they're connected to a server inside the United States. And think about this, Sean. They are asking, a Russian bank is asking the U.S. Justice Department to investigate this. They were hacked 3 times this year. This is how they figured this out. Because in February, there was a hacking. Then in March 11th and March 13th, they were hacked again. But they were able to trace this. So now they've gathered this evidence, and they are willing to share it with the Justice Department. That's what our sources have told us, that they're going to share all this evidence with the Justice Department in the hope that they'll find out who is doing this hacking.
All right. John, I want you to weigh in on this, because we don't know for sure if the other 2 hacking attempts that this bank dealt with, which kind of led to and snowballed into this investigation in the first place,
right?
We don't know if it's the same as the recent hacking attempts, do we? But do they suspect it was also outside of Russia in the United States that it could have happened?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So talking to people close to the new investigation, the bank last year thought, listen, this was just simple computer communications going on. When spam email hits a server and it bounces back and says, I don't want your spam email. They're now beginning to rethink that, thinking maybe there was a hacker all along trying to create a political hoax, trying to create the impression that there was something nefarious going on. So take a look at this story's evolution. A week before the election, headlines that Donald Trump has a secret computer connection, a backdoor way of talking to the Kremlin. Then we find out it's perpetrated by someone or advanced by someone that has a Hillary Clinton sentiment and pushing the story. Now we find out maybe the whole thing could be related to a computer hoaxer trying to create the impression of it. Now that's how the story's been evolving over this last week.
So the bottom line is we do have our intelligence law enforcement have looked into it. They have found 0 evidence. Now, there was the WikiLeaks revelation that shows that the CIA has the capability, and I'm not accusing them, but they have the ability, the technology, where they can take malware, Russian malware, et cetera, and they can actually be the hackers within the CIA, but put the fingerprints of the hacking on China, Iran, Russia, or any other country. So we know this technology exists. Sarah, right?
We know this technology exists, but also there are hackers out there that have this capability as well. So we just don't know. I mean, was this done? Will we ever find out the truth? Was this done by some kind of government entity? Was this done by a separate hacker working with another group? Is this connected politically?
Well, when
this is something that needs to be
FBI,
investigated.
or when are our intelligence officials going to say, we have nothing here? I mean...
Well, they have something. Oh, they have something. They have now at least a springboard to start investigating who tried to make these connections. If what the Alpha Bank is alleging is true, who tried to make these connections between Trump's server and Russia's bank? And that's very serious.
How convinced are you that this is a setup? Real quick, I have to run.
You know, I think that the most recent ones, there's going to be very strong evidence. When you look at the logs, this was somebody trying to create a trick, create the appearance. We will have to go back and see if they can recreate what happened in the fall and get to the truth.
Unbelievable. We're going to keep having you guys on. You're doing great work on this, and I don't think either one of you are the member of the right-wing conspiracy like me, so we appreciate your hard work. It's fascinating. This is almost as interesting as Homeland to me. Thank you both for being with us.
Thanks a lot.
And
I have been authorized by the Department of Justice to confirm that the FBI, as part of our counterintelligence mission, is investigating the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. And that includes investigating the nature of any links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government, and whether there was any coordination between the campaign and Russia's efforts. As with any counterintelligence investigation, this will also include an assessment of whether any crimes were committed. Because it is an open, ongoing investigation and is classified, I cannot say more about what we are doing and whose conduct we are examining. At the request of congressional leaders, we have taken the extraordinary step, in coordination with the Department of Justice, of briefing this Congress's leaders, including the leaders of this committee, in a classified setting in detail about the investigation. With respect to the President's tweets about alleged wiretapping directed at him by the prior administration, I have no information that supports those tweets, and we have looked carefully inside the FBI. The Department of Justice has asked me to share with you that the answer is the same for the Department of Justice and all its components. The Department has no information that supports those tweets.